that stuck around. My Sinchatan name is Chaklina Pont. My grandmother's name was Katlina from Saanich. My grandfather. Can you hear me now? My grandfather was from Halal up here. I'm married to Penelope and have 4 adopted children and 1 biological son. I'm, as you know, a social worker. I'm on the last leg of my master's degree and have been in the field for about 15 years now. And I'm in the midst of packing my family up and going to Europe. I've accepted a job in London to be able to do social work down there. In a different capacity, hoping that I would learn something abroad and bring it home to my people. I initially had gotten into this role and got my education to support and help my people and come back and provide a service to my people that I really felt we were lacking and we weren't represented in the mainstream of the ministry. We weren't represented as people. We were misrepresented. Our kids were being taken away. Our families weren't being supported properly, and the children were missing a big part of their culture. And I was fortunate enough to be raised by my grandparents, and they taught me. I've heard now a couple of times, and Harold was the last one that had mentioned it about walking in the 2 worlds, and that was one thing that my grandma had the foresight to see was to, she always taught me that education was important, that culture was important as well, and we were still able to go down to the States and be here for a winter season for the Longhouse. And I never ever failed a grade. I don't know what my grandma had scheduled for me within school, but I attended school in Seattle and I attended school here in Canada. Sometimes it was 2 months there, sometimes it was a month here, back and forth. I used to attend the Claymore Travel School, used to be started and down in Seattle. But she had the foresight to say that we needed to walk in the 2 worlds, our homo world and the quote-unquote white world. And that foresight I've carried forward to my own children and wanting them to learn and be empowered to be able to take their life by the reins and control their own identities and their spirits and not to feel backwards. My daughter Kira attends a Catholic school, which there was times that I was really questioning myself as to whether or not to have her there, but the education was really important and always taught her to stand her ground when they were talking about our people. And if we weren't represented properly, she at 8 years old would argue points with teachers about our people, and the books that they were reading in school weren't right, and she would tell them, this isn't right. So my grandma instilled that in us, and I really encourage our people to look beyond our borders of what residential school has left us, the legacy of creating these borders on reserves. Harold's right when he says, it's our land. We don't have to fight for anything. We can make what we want to make it our own. We don't have to follow a regimented government format in school, in policies, and I really believe that we can develop our own policies and make policies what we want them to be, how we're living, how we are as Palmo Cristino people. We don't have to get a templated format of what the government says that we have to have. We can make it our own and make it what we want to have, so we're sustaining our communities and our children and leaving a legacy for our children. That's the biggest thing that my grandma always said, is that she wants to leave something behind for us that we will be proud of. And our elders have been able to do that so far, and been able to leave something for us that we have, which is our culture, and we have to hang on to it. And I really believe that it's important for our people to be educated. It's important for our people to stand their ground. It's important for our people to be able to say that they're not going to follow the status quo of a European world. We're going to make it what we want to make it. In my master's program, that was the biggest thing that I did, was I didn't follow the status quo of what a major thesis was, and I developed my own program of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to graduate as a master's student, and made it my own, because that was the philosophies that I was raised on, and it worked well for me. I'm completing my master's. I plan on, when we're in Europe, to get my PhD and hopefully come home and be able to share that with our people. So having said that, I know we're pressed for time, and my brother's going to be speaking next. And I just really thank everyone for being here. Thank our elders for staying and being part of this. Hi.